going on, everybody? It's your boy Da Vinci's back with another episode of Up and Coming, episode 5 with my boy Danny Waugh.
UMass having one of their best seasons ever, a program record 21 wins. Leah, how does the Minutewomen stay consistent here in the final stretch?
What's going on? Thank you for having me. Excited to be a part of the show.
Man, I really do appreciate you. I don't know if you can see the smile on my face, but when you reached out to me saying that you wanted to be on this episode, when you were scheduled to be on this episode, I was really excited to talk to you because I'm talking to other black male journalists, especially sports journalists in the business. I'm like, yeah, I have to have him on the show. He'll be perfect to be on here. Definitely be perfect to be on the show. So what was tell the viewers of like, what do you're a sports journalist, what type of sports do you talk about? What do you do?
Well, I'm also mainly a play-by-play broadcaster, so I broadcast a lot of athletic events on ESPN Plus, also for CBS Sports. My main job is at Georgia Southern University, hence the shirt. Shout out Georgia Southern. And I work for a department called GATA Productions, where we specialize in broadcasting all of the home events for Georgia Southern Athletics on ESPN Plus. So women's soccer, men's soccer, football, men's and women's basketball, baseball, softball. I kind of do a little bit of it all as the play-by-play commentator. I also do some analyst work for football this season, and mainly just broadcasting those games for ESPN Plus, also broadcasting college basketball on CBS Sports, and also being able to help students at Georgia Southern that are interested in broadcasting and being able to, help them get involved in the business as well, learning different things as far as how to prepare, how to go about broadcasting the game. And then I've also done some journalist work. A long time ago, I worked as a sports reporter for a high school newspaper in Hinesville, Georgia, for a little bit. As a student at Georgia Southern, I worked for the student newspaper for a little while as well. And then I can talk sports here and there. I've been a part of a couple of radio shows that my friends have been a part of, including this one. And I've also been able to talk a little bit about wrestling. I'm a big pro wrestling fan as well. And a friend of mine has done a wrestling podcast in the past as well. So I kind of do a little bit of everything.
Well, we got people trickling in, man, and everybody knows, like, when you come in here, this show is all about trying to figure. We want to know you, and we want to expose your work. So everybody who's coming in, what's going on? Hey, ask Danny any questions. You're open to any questions they got to ask. PG comment like questions, right? But you're open to questions, right?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Okay. I'll answer any question to the best of my ability.
So what I want to know is so. You told me all these different things that you did to get to the position that you are first. I reported the news. My sister's a sports reporter. She does all these big time sports events with like 2K League, NCAA Women's, and Atlanta Dream, all that type of stuff. Big Ten. I reported the news, but I do know, and I've have like friends that's in sports journalism. I know how hard that is because everybody's dream who does sports journalist, like who's a sports journalist, they want to go on they want to be on ESPN. You're in ESPN Plus. Kind of tell me about that journey and some of the obstacles that you had to go through to even get to that point.
Well, it wasn't easy. I mean, it definitely took a little while to get to where I am. So let's kind of track back here for a little bit. So, and we kind of go way back as well, Greenbrier High School and everything. And I played basketball there my whole entire high school career, played football for a little bit. And I knew, after that was over, I didn't want to be completely away from sports. I know I wasn't going to play sports on the collegiate level, but I knew I wanted to still be a part of it. So I went to Georgia Southern. Majored in journalism, and while I was there, my junior year, I worked for a department that was at the time labeled the MDC, the Multimedia Development Center. At the time, we specialized in, we put all these games on a home streaming service for Georgia Southern, True Blue TV. And this was before the ESPN Plus deal came along, where everything streamed on ESPN Plus. So only a select group of games would be on ESPN3, and the rest would be done on a home streaming service. So I started as a camera operator my junior year at 20 years old. Operating cameras for different events from football, soccer, volleyball, basketball, like all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a couple of times when a game would be broadcasted for ESPN3. They would bring in an ESPN certified anchor, so someone who normally would come in a professional that would come in and do these games. So I took note of that, and I was like, I want to be able to. I kind of want to do that. I want to get into commentary and play by play or be an analyst. But my senior year, we had some certified ESPN anchors came in, and I got to work with them. I got to do color commentary, and it started out at soccer, and you got to prepare on your own end as far as learning the teams, being able to talk to coaches, understanding stats and the roster pronunciation and all that. So it was very raw when I started and got to do my first game. It was a men's soccer game I got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the analyst. I also got to do a stand-up coaches interview for both coaches at halftime, and it was that rush where I was like, I want to keep doing this. So we started to add the equipment to be able to broadcast these games, to add commentary. So I was able to do that along with another student. Shout out to James Braswell. He was another guy I got to work with. And we got to broadcast these games on True Blue TV. Now, whenever an ESPN3 game would come out, they were bringing that certified anchor because I wasn't truly ready to where I am now.
Yeah.
To be able to do that, I would learn with every broadcaster they would bring in. Different guys from Mike Pepper, I forgot where he's working at now. Jeff Radcliffe, who did some soccer games for Orlando City. Drew Felios, who was one of my mentors early on, that came in and really just helped me get along the way. So I was able to do that and broadcasting games here and there, basketball, baseball, and softball. And I had graduated in May of 2016. And after I graduated, I got an internship for the Florida Collegiate Summer League, where it was based in Orlando, Florida. And it was a summer league, and there would be like 6 or 7 teams, and I was the team broadcaster for one of those teams. So I did that over the summer. I got better as the summer went on. They have awards at the end of the year. I didn't win Broadcaster of the Year, but I definitely was the most improved from the start of the season to the end, and that's always big, trying to get better going forward. So while I was looking for jobs, trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with my life,
Yeah.
we're all at that.
As always, as everybody.
Yeah, you're 22, you apply for a job, you're trying to figure out what you're gonna do next, and I had a choice to make. There were 2 ways I could have gone. You mentioned broadcasting the news, and I believe WJBF, right?
No. Yep.
So I think at that time, they had that part-time weekend news position open.
Yep.
And I thought about that. I thought about going back home and doing that as well. But also the department at Georgia Southern, the MDC, they had a part-time positioning open. And yeah, while it was part-time, they needed someone to come in and broadcast the games. That was the big thing, and in order to be able to save some money on their end, have me come in, even though I'm working part-time, I get to broadcast all these games, volleyball, soccer, basketball, baseball, softball, just get that experience. So my big thing, as I was talking to my mentor about it, and another mentor, Corey Spates, he was a full-time employee at Southern that really helped me along the way too, figuring out what I wanted to do. I wanted to stick with broadcasting. And Drew and Corey just told me, like, hey, if you're calling games, you got to get your foot in the door some way, somehow. And it's a great start. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll go back to Statesboro. And it was very easy at the time, too. I had a lot of friends that were still in school down there. It wasn't that difficult for me at the time. A friend of mine had a 4-bedroom apartment. I moved right in. Cool. And I go do that. And, the big thing was just getting a start and just doing all of these games weekend in, weekend out. It was, at the time my quality of the broadcast weren't good. We can be honest. It was not good.
Mine wasn't either. Mine wasn't either.
I'm just trying to learn, just trying to get that experience. And I think that was a great opportunity because you hear, people say, you want to be able to fail and you want to fail forward. So that was kind of the early opportunity for me. I got to just go in and get reps
Mm-hmm.
every day, every week, just doing some type of broadcast, learning out on the job as I went along. And
I remember. So for those who don't know, me and Danny went to Greenbrier together. I think I'm a year or two older than you. I graduated in 2010. What year did you graduate? 2012. So I am 2 years older than you. Okay, so I do remember you playing basketball, and I do remember you playing football, and I wrestled, but I do remember you playing on the teams. But but as a journalist, there's a lot of people want to like start off in the business, like as in like they want to be in a top market, they want to go to CNN, or they want to be on ESPN, they want to be the next Stephen A. Smith, and I'm like, I'm telling you, so what somebody told me is like being on ESPN is like, or even being a sports journalist, it's like being drafted in the NBA. It's so hard. There's not a lot of jobs. You have to know every sport. You have to go get your reps in and stuff like that. You may have to do the news and show them that you can be on camera to even be a sports journalist. Is that a message that you're telling people? Is that true? Like, because I know that's it's difficult to be in that position. Like I'm telling that at students now at South Carolina State University.
No, it's absolutely true. I mean, it is so difficult to get into that upper echelon of being able to broadcast on a major network or being able to be a journalist on a major network because it takes a lot of time. It is very easy as a 21, 22-year-old fresh out of college and getting some type of experience. You think at that age, like, oh, I'm ready, until you really get to see what it really takes to be able to do this type of stuff. And it does take some time to be able to hone your craft and to get better at the different things. And the biggest thing, you have to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, it doesn't matter what it is. You just have to get your foot in the door and just network and continue to work and keep your head down and just work hard at it, because it just is what it is. And one thing I've noticed, especially in the last couple of years, there are so many young and hungry journalists, broadcasters, and everybody just working just as hard as you are just to get to that same position. So like you have to keep working at it. And in our business, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know as well. So you have to network and reach out to these people, let them know who you are, and it's a lot of that goes into the process.
I'm so excited for you to see, like, knowing that I do know you, to see that you're doing your thing with CBS, you're doing your thing with ESPN Plus. And it's awesome to see a fellow Augustan to be in the business and just rocking it. I do want to show a clip to everybody. I'm going to share my screen so everybody can see it. Pull that up real quick. I want to make sure you can see it as well.
Okay.
There we go. I'm gonna go live.
Welcome to courtside alongside Leah Secondo. I'm Danny Waugh. UMass having one of their best seasons ever, a program record 21 wins. Leah, how does the Minute Women stay consistent here in the final stretch?
They keep their big three going in motion here on the road.
The UMass held on in the second half, and another three, this time from Sutphin. Kick out, Deegan for three. Yes! How about the threes in the first quarter for the Wildcats? 10 to shoot. Gould drives. Oh, nice underhand layup. UMass having one of their best seasons in program history. A win today would tie their season high in wins in a year. Kelly, what stands out about UMass the most?
I just want to say, man, what really frustrates me with some people in the business, that is like, some people, I just hate their voice. Some people, like, sometimes they don't have an exciting voice. Like, how did you practice your voice? Because you can hear that you're energetic. Like, you can hear, you're changing your voice style up. You're like, and you're going in prepared. Like, how did you work on your voice? And also too, like, how do you prepare for these games to, because I know like women's sports, like women's basketball isn't fairly watched, but how do you go and prepare to go into those games to make it interesting and make it interesting for you and
Well, they're
viewers?
all interesting. First and foremost,
Mhm.
I thoroughly enjoy it. I feel like women's sports is going to continue to get better. I mean, it has grown so much in the last couple of years, and it's just a fun thing to call and broadcast and be a part of.
Mhm.
When it comes to preparation, I mean, all is that is the finished. You can say that's the example. That's the finished product, right?
Mhm.
Like that is 5 or 6 years of just repetition, and it just took some time to just work on my sound and cadence and things like that, and to slow things up and let the game come to you. And also in the last couple of months, I worked with a talent coach that's really been able to help me out and take my game to another level. And she's been phenomenal. Shout out Jill Montgomery at Four Leaf Productions. When it comes to preparation, my preparation is the same for about every game. I go in, I research both teams, the roster, what's unique about, who's scoring well, who's playing well, and different things of that nature. This was the game. Some of these clips that you're seeing are from the Atlantic 10 Women's Basketball Conference. So I'm on their website looking up information. It's all about finding those extra nuggets that people may not know that you can put into the broadcast. It's all preparation. Like you can never be too over prepared with any game. So I'm making sure like I'm going in there and keeping an eye on key different things to talk about for an open or during the game, and making sure I'm keeping notes of like different stats and stuff like that going in. And when the game happens, I'm hyped and ready to go. You want to keep it exciting. It's a basketball game. You want to keep the people entertained.
So it's not you're just talking about sports. How hard is it? Or you're just getting in front of the camera. I've heard that before.
No, it is. If there have been some moments I remember where I've worked with somebody, I guess a student that wanted to do a game, and I'm like, hey, he wants to do it. He's like, oh, it's gonna be easy. I'm like, all right, cool. We get in the game. We do a game. I toss it to him, and he freezes.
Uh,
Like it's very difficult. It takes a lot of time to get comfortable on
yeah.
the mic and to get comfortable on camera. So like it's a lot of practice that goes into it.
Before you even told that story, I knew that was gonna happen because like I started laughing because I knew it was gonna happen. Because when I was reporting the news, people would just talk so much crap about, oh, you're just on TV, you're just in front of the camera, you don't know what you're talking about, you're not doing the research. Like this is easy. I was like, okay, would you like to tell me what happened? Yeah, I'll get on there, and I put the camera on them, turn the light on, and it's like they're a deer in headlights, man. They just peed all over themselves. It's so satisfying to me because it's like I actually do my job. I research. You can ask my mom. I research everything. When it comes to this, I don't play around. I research. So I love that when you said that story, I automatically knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like what people see on TV once again is the finished product. They don't see the countless hours I'm on my computer researching, looking up notes, watching film of certain teams and players, just trying to understand a little bit more about the team, whether it also be coaches interviews, learning different nuggets or stats that people may not know. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of preparation behind the scenes. It's a lot of preparation behind the scenes in order to make the finished product look well on camera or on a broadcast during a game.
Do you have like a I keep forgetting my man's name. When I wanted to be a sports reporter, like I wanted to be, like I said, I wanted to be the next Stephen A. Smith, and then someone told me, "Don't be the next Stephen A. Smith. He gets paid to be who he wants to be. Be your own self." Then I got in the news, and I wanted to be like the next Don Lemon, or I wanted to be like, those type of folks. And then once again, people was like, "Just be the next Devin Johnson. Be yourself." But do you have anybody that you emulate? That you like to watch and you emulate their voices, like maybe I need to be like that person, maybe I need to be like that person, or have a little bit more excitement in my voice.
So when that comes to watching sports, I'm a big fan of a couple of different broadcasters. One of them, Mike Green, who does
Oh.
the NBA Finals, all the Sunday NBA games. Kevin Harlan is just straight up exciting, especially when a big play happens.
Everybody knows Kevin Harlan's voice. Football, basketball, he's everywhere. Everywhere, bro.
He's iconic. He's a legend for sure. Not his name off the top of my head. Mark Jones. He does some of the NBA stuff as well. And why is his name drawing a blank to me? He's such a good one. It's gonna come back to me. I know it is when I least expect it, and I feel terrible for forgetting this guy. Gus Johnson.
Okay.
Gus Johnson's the other one. He does the Big Ten football on Fox and some other stuff. Like those are all like excellent broadcasters. And sometimes just watching and just listening to different things that they do and they say, and just trying to take a little bit, try and just work it into my own game, and then of course it's also being yourself. You know, just trying to be the best you can be. But like Iron Eagle is another one as well. You watch these games, you listen to them and how they call games, and just try to your own type of style that goes along with them a little bit, but also just trying to find something that's yours. So like, of course, you can't do what they do. Like you can't add the Mike Green, the bang call.
Oh, you can't. If Mike Breen says bang, your team is losing. If somebody hits that three, you hit that bang, your team is losing. It's like that is so iconic. Like that, but that's his. But that's him.
Right, and I'm not gonna lie, I've tried to use that in a couple of games I've done, but it's just like I'm not him. You know what I mean? You gotta find your own thing and then just make it work. You know what I mean? But like I definitely listen to those broadcasters, and they're calling games all the time in basketball season and everything. Just listening to them and trying to pick up some notes here and there, and try to use it on your own, and just go about and doing it. But there are a couple of the guys that I do watch, and I'm just like, okay, I'm trying to be on their level and try to do what they're doing.
My Knicks play tonight. They play against the 76ers. It is Wednesday, so I know they're going to be on ESPN, and Mike Breen is probably broadcasting it. And once I hear that bang, I'm turning the TV off because I know we're losing. But do you have like a signature? Are you working on a signature? Are you working on a signature style that's trying to make it your own thing? Because like for me, my thing was like I like to do walk and talks. Like that's my thing. Like I know it's like everybody's thing, but that's like comfortable for me. Do you have like a thing that you're trying to do to make sure it's like, oh, that's Danny. I know that's Danny.
Not exactly, but like, kind of how Mike Breen has bang. I have, I try to emphasize different words like yes or good or knocks it down, something like that, just to make it sound effective. But I don't think like it's hard because you got to find something that sticks or to make something work. So like I haven't really like focused on trying to make something my own thing, but there are different phrases that I use to try to just add to my vocabulary to make it sound good.
We got more people coming in here. I'm gonna go back to this clip. I'm gonna continue going on with this clip.
What stands out about UMass is their balanced scoring attack.
On the shoot, Philoxy trying to tell a player to go. They got to get it up quickly, and the basket counts, and one for McKenna White. Danny Waugh and Kelly Burke on hand. In the first half for UMass, Kelly, Destiny Philoxy, the senior on senior day. Normally a facilitator, but what has she been able to do on the scoring side of things?
Philoxy, she's doing a bit of everything. She's getting downhill offensively. She's been able to step out and hit from distance. With this defense of Duquesne so focused on the bigs of UMass, it's given Philoxy a lot of open looks, and she's taking full advantage right now.
As we are getting closer and closer to the A-10 tournament, Kelly, what have been some of your picks for player of the year, freshman of the year, and who has an early edge of maybe winning the conference this season as well?
For player of the year, right?
I want to say, how hard is it to be a black male, a black man in black man, a male journalist, not just sports, but just journalists in general? I mean, just I've had my stories. I know how hard it is, but can you tell me like how is there? What are the challenges you had to go through? How hard is it for you, and how do you just keep it pushing every day to continue to get to where you want to be?
So one thing I will say, I have seen a lot more black journalists as of late really trying to make it in this business. I think that's phenomenal. From a play-by-play standpoint, a broadcaster, there aren't many black play-by-play broadcasters out there. Period. You know, I mean, the two major ones that I named off, Gus Johnson and Mark Jones. You
Mm-hmm.
know, those are the main that you see. You know, whether it be Johnson doing Fox in the Big Ten at noon, or Mark Jones doing the NBA
Or Mark
on
Jackson.
ESPN
Mark Jackson sometimes. Yeah.
analysts. Yeah. But like there just aren't that many, and there are a lot of them that people don't know about that's grinding right now and making impacts in different areas. I'm not sure, and I want to shout this one black play-by-play guy out real fast because he's doing an excellent job. His name's Everett Fitzhugh. I want to make sure I'm getting that right. He does play-by-play for hockey in the NHL for the Seattle Kraken. He is the first black play-by-play voice for an NHL team. And I think a week or two ago, they just had their first ever all black broadcast team for a hockey game. So like, and that's just phenomenal what he's been able to do and stick with it. Um, when it comes to being a black play-by-play broadcaster, like I said, there's not that many. So like, it's just all the more reason for me to just keep grinding and doing what I can do. And I put a lot of pressure on myself to try to make sure I'm able to have the best broadcast that I can do, put on the best performance that I can, making sure I'm doing all the research that I need to do, and just keeping at it. Because all it takes is just one phone call from somebody to be like, "Hey, we'd love for you to do this,"
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of how leave with CBS Sports. And you know, I'm glad you asked that question. And sometimes it's like I want to make sure I say the right things to answer it because there aren't many black play-by-play
Mm-hmm.
broadcasters, but there's an opportunity there to really just show people my stuff and to just keep grinding and keep working. That's kind of what you have to do, and
I mean, you
it's just
really, I mean, you like, we're unicorns in a sense. We're so unique. Like, we're rare. There's not a lot of us. A lot of us in the business is like, uh, there's not a lot of black male reporters in TV industry. So sometimes to even get where you want to be at, you have to do stuff that you don't want to do. Like, I don't know hockey, but if I want to be a sports reporter, I'm gonna have to talk about hockey. I guess what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to go nose deep in it, study, do my research. Like you said it before, you said you had to
like
learn, you had to do soccer. I don't know anything about soccer.
yeah, soccer and volleyball are not my strongest sports. I've gotten better at volleyball and I've gotten better at soccer, but they both were something that I did not know a lot about as far as how to broadcast them.
Mm-hmm.
So like that took a lot of reps over the years and just getting more comfortable with everything and researching and making sure that I'm able to do that. And even with baseball and softball, which I love, I have to get better at that and learn that. And a lot of it just came from repetition, broadcasting those games over the last 5-6 years until I was comfortable enough to be able to broadcast them.
Where I know everything is like a stepping stone. So where do you want to? I'm looking at this question or this chat. Okay, never mind. So I'm looking at everything is a stepping stone. Where would you want to be at? What's your ultimate goal?
Oh, I would love to broadcast on a professional level and do the NBA.
Mm.
That I love basketball. So like being able to broadcast for the NBA would be something that I would definitely want to do, or even or the WNBA, which has
Mhm.
just been continuing to grow. I mean, the 20, even though we were in a pandemic 2 years ago, the bubble for women's basketball for WNBA, I feel like it skyrocketed the league in viewership to where like it is the league to watch going forward. So like I would love to even do that. I mean, professional level is where I want to go in the end. You know, whether that be in the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, WNBA, I just want to be able to get an opportunity to broadcast it and do that. So like it takes a while to get there. So the way I kind of see it, broadcasting at Georgia Southern and being able to broadcast for CBS Sports, Georgia Southern, the Sun Belt Conference, the G5 in football, and a mid-major everywhere else. You know, so like I'm kind of on the mid-major level broadcasting games. In order to get to the pro level, I feel like I need to get to a Power Five level. So doing games, whether it be in the ACC, the SEC, Big Ten, Big 12, wherever, you know, being able to get that experience on that level and then being able to take it a step further and be able to broadcast on a professional level. So, like, I feel like that would be the end goal, if possible, being able to do what Mike Breen and Mark Jackson and Mark Jones and Gus Johnson doing what they do, Kevin Harlan, whether it be for any of those networks, ESPN, TNT. I just want the opportunity to be able to do it and be able to stay at that level and to be one of those guys.
So I don't. This isn't about me. This is about you. But for an example, when I was reporting for the news, I was watching the news nonstop, like CNN, HLN, Fox, local news, the competition. I'll get on LinkedIn and watch people's like demo reels or stories that they did, just picking up little things just to kind of make it, trying to do what I need to do to like better my game. So like how much basketball do you watch, and is it even like you enjoying it, or is it like you're working like nonstop? You're just watching basketball nonstop. Is it what's your daily life like?
So this is actually a good example because because I know we initially, you know, I reached out to you a month ago saying I wanted to be a part of this podcast, and it took a while before I could even come on. So like the last 2 weeks, and we call it crossover season in college sports, where you're finishing up basketball season, but you're also starting up baseball and softball. So like I can give you a timeline of what the last 2 weeks were, and we can start with February. We'll start with February 18th, for example. So that was a Friday. At Friday, February 18th, I had a softball game I had to broadcast at Southern. It was part of a weekend tournament they were doing. I had students do the first game. I did the second game, trying to get a freshman, trying to get him up to speed on broadcasting and do a game with him. That Saturday was the big men's basketball game at Georgia Southern against Georgia State on ESPN Plus. Right after that game, I had to drive up to Columbia, South Carolina, pick up a rental car, Columbia to Davison, North Carolina. And that Sunday, the 20th, was a game for CBS Sports. You saw some of the clips on there where I did women's basketball with Davidson and UMass. So I did the game that Sunday afternoon. I drove back home to get my car Sunday evening, got home Sunday night. Monday was a prep day for me in the office, getting ready for the baseball opener for Georgia Southern that Tuesday against Georgia Tech. That Wednesday the 23rd, we had another men's basketball game where Southern played Louisiana. Thursday was kind of a prep day for me. In that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I did a 3-game baseball series where Georgia Southern hosted UCF. So, like, crossover season of just game after game after game. It's a grind, you know. Now, luckily, you know, this week is kind of chill before we get going again this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with some more baseball games where I'm broadcasting the game on Friday and then getting students prepared for Saturday and Sunday. But like that's kind of how it is. Like it's every weekend. That's when I work. You know, whether I'm broadcasting, whether I'm helping a student out, every weekend from January to May there's something going on at all times.
So
So
you're
like, but watching sports at home, it depends. Like I'm not watching that much because sometimes I get home and I'm just like, okay, I don't feel like watching sports. I've been doing it all day. Or if I do tune in and watch a game, I'm watching the NBA.
yeah.
Like, and I'm watching just completely just struggle and made me lose all hope in this team. So uh, that's kind of how it is. So I don't really watch sports as often as I guess as I should be doing it. But I'll tune in and watch a game here and there and just listen for a little bit. But mainly since I'm doing all that at work, sometimes I just come home and just try to relax a little bit before I have to go back in the next day and do something else sports related.
Let's watch some more. Let's watch another clip. So I got another clip pulled up. If I let me find it. I guess I'll just go to the document and got it on the downloads. Oh nope, that was the same one. Hang on. Sorry about that, guys. Hang on. I had it pulled up. There we go. We'll go with that one.
I'm Danny Waugh. Eden Johnson across half court. 20 seconds. Defense picking up for App State. Ward inside. Banks ties it up. Austin will inbound for 11 seconds. Who will she go to? Stolen by the Eagles. Ward inside. No. Put back. Yes. Simone James with 4 seconds to go. Long pass. Austin. Sanders to the corner. Porter for the win. No. Georgia Southern hangs on. They beat the Mountaineers 82-80.
Listen, I tell you, if if I was the other team and I heard your voice, I would be so devastated. She shoots on the 3. No, they lose. I'm like, bro, just say that I lost. Like, but I like it. I like the style. But it's you. That's you. I like that.
Thank you.
Hey, I see that you've been. Go ahead.
Yeah, you just gotta build up to the moment, So like you gotta make it exciting, So what's what I do, what you gotta do.
And that's what I've been preaching. So I'm preaching with my new job, just creativity, man, creativity, engagement, but impact. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to watch a boring video. Nobody wants to hear a boring broadcaster. They're gonna flip the channel. So, like, what do you have any like? Do you have a crazy? What's the craziest game? Or what's the craziest / best game you've ever called?
That's tough. Well, of course, like the clip people just saw. I mean, that was a close game and nail biter to the finish. That was an overtime win for Georgia Southern. I mean, there have been a couple of game winners here and there for basketball, for baseball, some walk-off base hits and things like that. Kind of hard to tell, like as far as like what is the like best, my favorite game that I've called. There have been a couple of games where like whether not even like if it's a close game, but when players just ball out.
Mm-hmm.
There was a game that I called this year in Fairfax, Virginia, where a senior, she broke her career high and had like 36 points. And that was fun to be a part of that. It's a lot of moments. I think it's more moments than games overall that I've called. But, I don't really have one that like is an outright favorite, but just being able to be a part of different moments have been fun for me, like the game winners or the walk-offs or a game where I remember a game I did a couple of years ago, men's basketball game where Southern was trying to win or to tie it up, and he got guy got blocked. Calling a big time block.
Yeah.
As a game or something like that. And it's those moments that really stick out. I did a baseball game last season where a player hit for the cycle. In a game, he had 2 home runs, a triple, a double, and a base hit. He went 5 for 5. It was fantastic. He was incredible. I did a game where a pitcher had a 1-hitter, a shutout, and that was fantastic. Just those games where those players just really ball. That's where it's really fun because you get to just you're as hype as they are as they're starting to add more points up, and you're just hyping them up as they continue to go. Those moments are always.
You know what will be? I don't know. Would this be exciting for you? Have you ever thought about it? EA Sports is bringing back the NCAA back to video games, and like for 2K, they have literally all the play-by-play commentators and announcers for every team. Would it be cool, or would it be cool for you to be on once they bring that video, like the NCAA back to gaming consoles, and your voice was on it? Would that be cool for you, or would you want to do something like that?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. That would be phenomenal. I mean, because I grew up, playing those games, so like, especially now the 2K games, we're so used to hearing Kevin Harlan call those games, or Brian Anderson doing a couple of those games as well, or for the show with Matt Vasgersian, or even for the NFL. I know Jonathan Coachman did some of the intros and openings for some of those games. So like, that would be awesome. I would love to be able to do that if given the opportunity.
I need you to sign my copy when I get it. Once it comes out and they say, hey, we want to go to these colleges and we want to use these broadcasters, and you're a part of that, I need you to sign my copy.
Bet.
Sounds bet. Do you have a welcome to the industry moment? And what I mean is for me, first time going live, I went live for a breaking news situation in Augusta. There was a shooting. Practice my lines. I'm ready, stretching, trying to, get ready to tell this to like people in Augusta, North Augusta, Aiken, just getting ready to do my thing. And I'm listening to my earpiece, and the producer says, "Cue Devin," and I say, and the reason why I'm doing this, because this is what I literally did. I was like, I really forgot what happened, and I forgot my name. Like, I was like, I'm Devin Johnson. I said that a lot. I was like, I'm Devin Johnson. Do you have a welcome to the industry moment?
Man, there have been some moments that have kind of stuck out for me. Man, I don't know. Like, I think it's kind of hard because like I don't really know like what moments that stick out where it's like welcome to the industry. I probably would think like my first CBS sports game that I did. It was 2 years ago when I was in Kingston, Rhode Island, and I was doing Rhode Island BCU. And I guess just those moments before, just thinking like, holy crap, I finally like I got to this next level. Like, this is an amazing opportunity. I think that's the moment that stuck out to me because it was also crazy because the halftime segment that we did on camera, we're talking about David Stern, who passed away a few days prior, and we were talking about that. I think the biggest thing was after that game when I got back to the hotel and I was changing clothes and my undershirt was completely drenched because of the adrenaline of just being able to do that. And like, I was at an all-time high at the moment, just like, oh my God, I finally got a chance to do this. And I remember I got passed out like 2 hours afterwards from all the adrenaline wearing off, just being able to do that. Doing play-by-play for football for the very first time in October, just last year, where I finally got to do play-by-play football and do that broadcast for the very first time. And then there was like a month and a half later where BYU, who was ranked 14th in the nation, came into Statesboro, thanks Georgia Southern, And I didn't know, I found out like a couple of weeks beforehand, like 2 weeks before, that I was doing play-by-play for that. And I was like, holy crap, like that's the highest ranked team that's ever came in, being able to broadcast that.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to broadcast baseball when Georgia came in, you're wearing the Georgia shirt, when Georgia came to Georgia Southern, the 3-game baseball series. That was a fantastic, like, holy crap, like this is an amazing moment. Like those types of things stick out, but I think that that welcome to the industry moment. I don't know if there's like a specific one that stands out, but the CBS sports game that I got to do was a big like, oh my goodness, this is what I prepared for to be able to do, and I finally had that opportunity to do that and be able to broadcast for them. And it's still working out well. Going on year 3 with them this season.
So we've been talking about you doing sports for 46 minutes. I want to transition to something else.
All right.
I'm trying to figure out how I want to transition to this, but I'm just gonna do it. So you like, for me, man, I work all day, and when I was doing the news, man, you can ask my mom. She's in this chat right now, and she's watching. She says that she loves your voice. She's very impressed with what you're saying. She loves your demo reel, so she's very intrigued with it. But you can ask my mom. When I come home from work, I just play my game, or I'm streaming, or I'm making some type of content. That's how I get out of the work environment. You have some kind of a different element that you do. You make beats on the side?
Yes, I do. Yeah, no, this is also like my workstation when I try to work on beats and stuff like that. So this kind of started back in 2017. Fall 2017.
Uh-huh.
I was still working part-time, so I was still working part-time at the moment. I was trying to find extra ways to kind of like fill up my time to do stuff, and I was really like I love music. So like, and anybody that went to Greenbrier High School may remember I made a mixtape my senior year of high school for senior project.
I feel like I know I graduated, but I was still hanging around some of you guys, so I think I remember maybe somebody saying that. So I remember, but I've never heard the mixtape.
Right, I gotta share that with you. So, yeah, so like I've always loved music, and I was just listening, and I was really like I wanted to get into making beats. So I remember we signed with an apartment complex in Statesboro. I got like a $4 gift card, and I used that money and put it straight to buying some equipment. Like I bought this keyboard, I bought some headphones, I bought a mic and everything to kind of go all together, and just started just learning how to make beats. And I had this it's called Mpc Essentials. It was like the starter program, just to try to learn how to make beats. And it wasn't a full software, but it was enough to where I could like
teach yourself
figure things out. And I spent a lot of time just in my room, just trying to learn and figure things out. And then a year or so later, I was able to upgrade to the full production studio of Mpc 2, and just really just sat in my room. Kanye was like, lock yourself in a room, make 3 beats a day. I wasn't like that. But still, there were times when I was starting out, I would spend like 5, 6, 7 hours just working on one beat, trying to figure things out, just trying to learn the basics of just trying to put something together. And over time, I just got more comfortable with it. I had different ideas that I would, it's always something when you have an idea and you're able to play it out and it actually works out, and it's just a fantastic feeling.
That's what I'm doing right now with Photoshop, man. I'm trying to teach myself how to use Photoshop. So when you see this YouTube, the thumbnail you see the thumbnail on YouTube tomorrow for this interview, just know I spent hours making this because like it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope as hell. I'm gonna let you know that. But I spent like yesterday. I got home from work at like 7, and I was up watching Love Is Blind and making Photoshop thumbnails, teaching my YouTube University to 11:50 at night, man. So I know exactly what you mean.
That's what it takes. You know, you just got to put that time aside to do it. So like, whether I be just watching basketball or something in the background or having something on, I would just work on music. And you know, when I got to promote the full time at Southern, that kind of got taken away from it as far as working on beats. But I always try to put some time aside to work on something. And then when the pandemic happened and we were like locked in our houses, I spent more time just trying to work on beats for that and learning something new from like learning how to use 808s, learning how to sample, trying to find a sample and just make it work the way you want to where this fits in perfectly.
Mm.
And crazy, like the last few months, I haven't been able to work on beats as much as I wanted to because work and broadcasting has just been more of my primary thing. And when I get home, me and my fiance are just chilling, watching TV or whatever, and then I go to sleep and then wake up the next morning and do it all over again. But yeah, nah, and I've tried to, you know, I have a SoundCloud. I put some beats on there, and I have had a couple of beats where I have been able to send out to different people and share. And you know, I had a couple of placements on a couple of projects. I didn't send it to you, but I'm going to try to send you a link while we're going on here. While I'm doing that, I can tell you about some of the beats I've done. So there's an artist in Savannah, Georgia. Shout out to my boy Clay Hodges.
Mm-hmm.
A few years ago, I was in this group chat of like other artists and producers and everything, and one guy was looking for some beats, so I sent him a bunch of them. He was like, "Okay, these are dope. I want to use 2 of these." So I was like, "All right, cool." And I was able to send them to him, and a few weeks later, he sent me the finished product to one of them, and it was a really good song, really dope song. He actually made a video to it,
Mm-hmm.
and both beats that I sent him, he used for his project, for his album, and okay.
Are you sending me the link? Because I have your SoundCloud pulled up.
Right, but those aren't going to be on the SoundCloud. So I'm putting them in here in the Discord chat of the videos of the artists that I made the songs for, and it was pretty cool because both of the songs that I sent that he did were like in his first 5 tracks of his album that came out. So like which was awesome just to even be a part of. And then I sent him another beat that he used for his latest project that came out I think a few months ago. So like it's been awesome. And then there was another guy that I worked with who was a former Georgia Southern football player who he lives in Texas now. I sent him a beat. He really liked it, and he actually put one of songs on his album. So like, I've got a couple out there, and Clay is the main one that I've been able to do.
Mm-hmm. Is it in the Discord?
Don't know.
Did you put it in the Discord?
Yes. So I sent the 2 videos in the Discord.
Okay. All right. Hang on. Let me minimize my screen. Okay, I see that you. Okay, so this guy right here, Clay Hodges.
I don't know if you have. So like, I use Tidal because I support Jay-Z. I don't have Spotify, but I did send a link to another song that's on Tidal. Well, it's on Spotify as well. But if you want to search that as well, it's called Step Team from Clay Hodges.
Okay.
That's just a
so
there. But the 2 videos.
Go ahead.
Well, so like the 2 links are YouTube links to the videos that he made for the song, and then the title link is you can find it on Spotify as well. It's called Step Team by Clay Hodges. That's on his latest album, Be Good to You, where he used another beat for a song.
So I got Clay Hodges Dancing with the Devil pulled up right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that right now. And this is your beat.
Do it.
This is your beat.
Yes.
All right, let me hear this.
This is one of the first beats that I have made. It was one of the first few I made when I was starting out trying to figure things out.
Okay.
So like that one, the fact that he liked that was amazing because he just shows like I'm doing something right.
All right, let's listen to it.
I had the craziest dream. I gotta tell you about this shit, man. So,
man. She a devil in the red dress. She bad as hell, gotta keep my mind steadfast. And on the mail, says she wanna get my bed wet. I'm trying to sell, but she won't catch me slipping. She would not catch me slipping. She a devil in the red dress. She bad as hell, gotta keep my mind steadfast. And on the mail, says she wanna get my bed wet. I'm trying to sell, but she won't catch me slipping. She would not catch me slipping. No, no, she not catch me slipping. No. She would not, man. This that gullah geechee down by the river, blowing nerves, sipping liquor on the curb with my niggas, shooting birds to them bitches who been trying to catch a slipping while you trying to make a living. We out grinding, making killers. She see that, now she get into her feelings. She come off innocent, but the girl a villain. I heard she like to listen and go tell all of your business. I heard she got my nigga locked up on the sentence. I heard she got a nigga smoke right off of the renting. Skidway, big lay, all over the ceiling. I know that I be sinning, and I hope the Lord forgive me. But Shawty's so bad that she never had Christmas, and I just wanna gift her. Is that a bad thing?
The fuck is you saying, man?
Okay, yeah it is. Man, I'm rotting in the fast lane with a half a gas tank.
How do you? So you just said you just like not just, but that was he used one. That was one of the first beats that you started making just recently, and you sent him a couple beats, and he's like, "Bro, I like this." How? Like I have an ear for music as well, but I can't. I'm not gonna say I can't, but like, how do you notice? Like, all right, I'm gonna use a piano to start it off, right? I'm gonna have like a little piano situation, and then I'm gonna go for this long. Then I'm gonna have the 808 drop, and then right here I'm gonna have that drop for. I'm gonna have this little loop right here. Then pause it, then go back. Like how does your mind work like that way? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So just so you know, so I think you're playing it off of Twitch. Were you playing that stuff?
I was playing that video off of Discord. It was on YouTube.
Okay. I couldn't hear it on my end.
Okay.
But as long as you hear it and the people that are listening can hear it, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I made that first beat, it was I said it was when I kind of started and I had a couple of beats done. So like this is where I was really just sitting down trying to figure out, okay, what do I want to start with? So I started with that melody, just something to have going, and then I put some chords behind it. And then after I had the chords, I'm like, okay, do I want to, we can do the snare and the kick and the hi-hat, and then adding the 808 to it. So like sometimes, especially now when I work on beats, like where I start on the beat can be anywhere. Like if I'm starting on, if I have a good, good snare and kick and drums and everything, I'll start there. If I'm trying to find something, a synth on the piano, I'll start there. Or if I am trying to find some chords together, I might start there. And then it's just like, okay, this sounds good. I'm gonna add this to it. I'm gonna add that to it. Then just try to find different ways to make it sound decent, So like, with that being one of the first beats that I did, I definitely remember spending a lot of time, a couple hours, just like, all right, what's going to be like, what kind of beat do you want this to be? Is it like I guess like my thought process at the time, it was like, I'm thinking like it to be like a West Coast or something that Jeezy would.
It sounded very West Coast. Not like, it didn't sound like G-Funk era. Like, like Snoop and Tupac and Dre. It sounded more like newer West Coast, like YG. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to.
So like that was, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was passing back to you.
Oh yeah, okay. I want to hear one more before we start wrapping it up. So I want to hear the second one you sent over. I want to just watch it over here. All right, so we got this one called Sensational.
Vegan. I ain't supposed to be eating that. Even though it's vegan, it's not healthy. Just because it's vegan, it's not healthy. I'm not a healthy vegan. I need to eat better. I'm getting fat again. Man, I ain't even living right. I'm sitting dripping like the sauce. Lord. I said, hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? I've been going through some things. I'm trying to get to know the real me. So I've been praying for a change. I've been racing through some change. I've been racing through these days. I keep on doing the same thing. But I know better, it's a shame. So I'm turning up today. Tonight I'm gonna be blessed. Tomorrow I will be mature. And I don't wanna be mature. My always I will reminisce. I got a bad bitch.
How do you come like not how do you I like to it's pretty much like, is it hard to come up with like what sounds you're gonna like? When I think of a beat, I keep thinking of the like, I know beats change and whatever, but how do you come up with a beat that makes it sound like that doesn't sound, that's not, I don't want it to sound like this, like I don't want it to sound like the other one or the same one. Like, how do you change up what you want to hear, and how do you have like a signature sound? Like I hearing those two beats, if somebody played me a beat, I can know that it's you. So that's how good I am with music. I can hear a beat and I know that person, that's that artist. So how do you like, so go back to the question, how do you come up with a different sound when you come up with these beats? And then two, how do you like, how are you coming up with to make sure that your sound is a signature sound? Just how when you're broadcasting, you're like, yes or no with the bank.
The tagline. So that damn Daniel, like I wanted to have something that no one's used before, so I wanted to go with that, and that kind of fit in with like the intro, or that's when you know the beat's about to drop.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to trying to have something different, I just try to make just different things. I'm not like trying to limit myself to, it needs to be specifically, just like a trap beat or something like that. I'll just make whatever comes to mind and then try to add my own flavor to it. So like the sensational song, that flute in the background with a sample that a friend of mine, RJ, he had showed me. He had said he was trying to work with the sample and he sent it to me and I was like, I'm gonna see what I can do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just found a certain pattern that worked, and I just added some the kicks and the snares and the hi hats, and it just kind of worked like that, and just whatever I'm feeling. Like I don't try to limit myself to just one specific type. I'll work on whatever comes to mind, and then afterwards, and then there are some moments where I'm working on something and I'm gonna say, okay, nah, this don't sound good.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I'm gonna edit that, or okay, is this floor that I can go with this? Let me just sleep on it, and maybe if I come back to it, something else might pop up to where I can work on it. Like it depends. Like it just really depends on the situation. So like I'm just trying to make something that sounds good. It doesn't really matter like what it sounds like or what genre it is. Where like now, like you listen to music now, it's the same like 808s, trap music, and things like that. And I won't lie, it's very easy to be like, okay, I need to make something like that. And then when you're trying to make something like that, it's just like, okay, I got nothing, and then you just get stuck. So like the important thing is just trying to work on something. So just working on something, not trying to put it in a box, just trying to make something and just see how it sounds, see what you can add to it. Okay, here's what I can do here or there. And then if it sounds good at the end, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna export this and I'm gonna, I'll finish it. Other ones, I'm just like, okay, this isn't good. I'll work on what's next.
I need you to I need you to make like 2 or 3 beats for me so I can have so I could put it for my intro videos for my YouTube channel, man. I've been looking for somebody to make like a dope beat, just a dope beat that I could use for an intro, man. Like 2 or 3 of them, that would be awesome, yo.
All right, well, cool. Well, I'll tell you what I do here, because I know my SoundCloud has a couple of beats on there, but it doesn't have everything that I've worked on.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have beats that are already done that I'll definitely just send to you and just tell me what you think, or if you have a specific vibe or feel that you're trying to go for it. I'll try to put some time aside and try to, and that'll be a good way to get back into working on beats, because I haven't been able to work on anything as of late because of just how busy the sports have gotten in broadcast.
Yeah, I know you're busy, man. Like, yeah, I'll take a look at your SoundCloud and listen. If you got any fresh fresh ones that you want to send over, you can do that. Because I do know, I just did the last episode I made an intro. I got like this really dope intro, and I took a beat from like somebody from YouTube, but I have to credit them. Of course, I'm gonna credit you, but I don't know this person. I'd rather support people I know and put it on my stuff, so that way people can see you and they can go to your stuff. So help me, help you, help us.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Well, I got one more question before we close out. We all know what you want to do with sports, right? We all know what you want to do with sports. You just threw us a curveball with the beat making. What do you want to do? Like, do you have any goals with your beat making? And two, like, how do the two correlate? I guess that's the best way to close out, man.
With the beats and stuff, I've tried to put a lot of pressure on myself as far as like, okay, I need to send these out to people, and there are some beats that I have where I'm just like, okay, these are something that I really want to send to someone, like really do something with it. But that's not really the case. I won't lie, I haven't done the best job as far as like promoting my SoundCloud, promoting that I have, and that's a lot of what it has to take to be able to have people see your stuff. You have to market yourself and promote your stuff to put it out there. The beats that I have now, I'd love just for people to listen, or if there's talented artists that can do something with them. Like the top listen tracks on my SoundCloud are beats that I was able to sample. Like there was a period of time during the pandemic, during lockdown, where I was like really big on New Jack Swing. And I just went and tried to take some of those New Jack Swing songs and those old school songs, try to flip them and add something to it to where it would sound really good. And one of them, like I spent months on. I just didn't know how to flip it exactly. And then you just find that moment, and it's just like, oh, it clicks. It's tremendous. As far as like kind of having it go hand in hand with broadcasting, I think it's just you gotta start. You just have to start somewhere, and then just build off of it. And then with the end product, as far as music goes, or something that you like, oh, cool, I can send this out and see if people like it and everything like that. Or it's just a lot of preparation that goes into it.
I think because like when you're watching a sports highlight reel, they put beats on there, right? It makes the highlight reel a little bit more interesting. I feel like you making your own, rather you having to go to Envato Elements or YouTube or buying somebody else's stuff. You already know, you got an ear of what you want to hear. Like, let's say for instance, like this girl just shot from half court, and the vibe of the game was very hectic. You have a beat, instead of looking for I need a beat like this, you can make that. And then so when you like ready to get called up, it's like, oh, well, not only that I can, I've got video editing skills, I can be on camera, but I also make beats that go with the music. You're like a triple whammy. You're a unicorn, dude. You're right. You're very unique. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
That's one thing I'm trying to, that's one thing that I could definitely try and like put together and have them go 2 and 2. Whether I'm putting not a demo reel on my end, but like if someone like is putting together a highlight tape or something,
Mm-hmm.
using that music can definitely help and go into that as well. Yeah, it's just something I definitely want to continue doing. I haven't, I want to get back to working on music a little bit more than I have been as of late. And a lot of it's just putting aside the time to do it because you get so caught up with just the 9 to 5 and the day-to-day stuff. When you get home, your mind isn't in that. You're not in that mindset to sit down and put the time aside to work on that extra stuff. You just want to relax and do other things. So like, and I've kind of gotten away from it lately, but like, it's definitely one thing I want to try to work on more. I've had a couple of like, I have enough beats done to where I could put out a beat tape,
Mm-hmm.
and that's been one of the things I've wanted to do for a while. But as far as like, the flow, the style, what kind of beats are going to be on it, that's another thing I've tried. Like, I don't know what exactly I want to be there, but I have enough to where I can put together a beat tape, 9 or 10 tracks, just send it out to people, see if they like it, and then if anybody is interested in wanting to rap on it or make a track off of it, reach back to me, we can negotiate and figure out something that can, make something happen. Like that's how it was with me and Clay. Clay is a fantastic artist out of Savannah. He's on the come up. He's made a couple of albums, and I've been on a couple of tracks, and producing some of those tracks for him, and they've been really popular songs whenever he's sent out to people. So like, just trying to, it's a lot of networking as well, because compared to broadcasting and trying to get your name out there, you have to network and get your stuff out there to people.
Yes, you do. That's the whole purpose of the show, man. I appreciate you coming in. I also put your soundtrack in the chat, so people, if you want to listen to more of Danny's beats, you can click on the link over here and go. It takes you straight to his SoundCloud. There's about 16 beats on there. I also play those 2 other songs, so y'all can go back and listen to those. I also put Danny's IG on there, so if you want to go follow him on Instagram, you can definitely go follow him. I don't know how often you post on Instagram, but I know you post a lot on Facebook. That's how I knew you was working for ESPN Plus and CBS. So because you post a lot and you post you just network. You pretty much put all your stuff on Facebook. So continue doing that, my brother. I'm gonna keep supporting you.
Yeah, and Twitter. So my IG name is the same as my Twitter at the Waugh Report. It's spelled WAUGH. So IG handle, Twitter handle is the same. I do a little bit more posting on Twitter. Instagram, I'm fairly new to. And when it comes to networking, that was one thing I needed to do. So I actually got on Instagram about a month ago, or a month and a half ago. And, I usually just use that for professional posting games that I'm doing, whether it be at Georgia Southern, whether it be for CBS. Twitter, I'm a little bit more active, posting more there a good bit as well. Facebook as well, if you want to add me on there. But I think Twitter and Instagram are the main 2 where I'm really, especially Twitter, where I'm trying to post a lot more.
Got you. Well, I appreciate you rocking with me for the past hour and 13 minutes, man. This was great. I definitely would love to have you back on here in the future. Just, you hit me up. Let's do this again. And
Absolutely. I would love
bet. Maybe you know what I'll do? Maybe I'll do an episode with me, you. I'll ask my sister if she wants to be a part of it, and then I'll get we could do something like trying to help students out, black students, black male, female, and male reporters / journal, male reporters and female and male who want to be journalists. We kind of have a sit down and have a Q&A, because I right now I work for SC State, and they don't have I swear to God, they don't have one teacher that's been in the business ever. All they have is professors. So they're asking me to come talk to students. help the students out, help them with their voice. And I'm like, I can't even do it because I'm working for a whole other organization. So maybe, you know, I get me, you, and my sister, we all get together. We have like a Q&A we can get, because like you said, there's not a lot of us doing it. So if we can help more people get in it, why not? I definitely hit you up about that idea.
With that, I want to say, I feel like it's important to put out there as well.
Okay.
Number one, your sister is incredible. I follow her on Twitter and Instagram, and I've caught up with her and seen all the stuff that she's done. I actually did reach out to her a few years ago when we were trying to put together sideline reporting for football, and she was one of the people that I reached out to. And just seeing her go from the 2K League to doing NCAA to doing the Big Ten, it's just phenomenal. She does an amazing job. And two, when it comes to mentoring students, so at Georgia Southern, I have about 4, 5, or 6 students that I have 4 of them that work in my department as student workers. So they work with me, and I get them prepped up and teach them how to go out and broadcast games and give them the experience that they need. And we had a meeting this afternoon where we all sat down together, just went over a bunch of things. And the mentoring side, being able to help students, is such a rewarding thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because not to say that I didn't have that as a student. I did. I just didn't have it like that. It's another way where I can help them. Like when I was a student, my one of the workers that worked there, Corey, you know, he was trying to help me out and did a tremendous job. And also Drew Felios, who broadcast the games out of Florida, he helped me out as well. But like being able to now work for that department and being able to help those students just learn and just see how things click for them, because when you see that moment when it clicks for them, it's such an amazing feeling, because it shows that they're putting the work, time and effort, and really been able to excel in what they want to do. And it shows that they're passionate about, you know, wanting to be in this industry and broadcast and everything. So I have a great group of student workers right now that have really just came along the way that I'm able to help and mentor and lead. So like all the Georgia Southern games that you see, 9 times out of 10 I'm working with a student. That's my answer.
Okay.
Or anybody that's calling a Georgia Southern game, they're broadcasting those games.
I agree with you. I'm working with a cheerleader who wants to be a sports reporter, and I'm working with her voice, her editing, her filming black folks, because lighting black people is hard. You will get cussed out if you don't film black people right. I'm teaching her all that because she doesn't have that. She's just learning how to write. She's really, everybody at SC State are going to be English majors and trying to get into business. And they're like, Devin, can you help me? Can you help us? And I'm trying, man. I'm doing my best because it's so rewarding. So I agree with you on that. And then 2, on the second thing, man, you about to make my mom cry because she's watching it, talking about Autumn. So we both appreciate it, man. I know she appreciates it.
No, she's amazing. I mean, I'm trying to get like her. You know, I'm
trying to get like her.
She's going everywhere. She's doing the right things, and it's just great to see her excel and just do an amazing job wherever she's at, whether it be the 2K League, NCAA, for the Big Ten, starting out there. It's all awesome.
Well, thank you so much, man. And good luck to you. Good luck to you. We'll definitely be back in contact. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.